This is the Priestcast. I'm Father Adam Ahern. Father Michael Kuchar, how are you?
Good morning, Father Ahern.
Good morning to you as well.
Happy Wednesday. Yeah, I'm doing well.
All right, good.
I'm waking up right now, okay? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we both are.
We both are, Father Ahern. There's a lot of joy in another day of life.
Yes, a nice, brilliant morning, alive and well and pursuing
Today
the
is
Lord.
my nephew's birthday.
Oh, well,
My oldest nephew.
Happy birthday to your nephew.
Adam.
Good.
He is a devoted listener of the Priestcast.
Best name ever.
He is, I figured you appreciate that.
Not named after me, though. That's probably...
He is in the 8th grade right now.
Nice.
Can you believe that? He was born in 2011.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
No.
I mean, geez.
I mean, we were in seminary at that point.
We were. Yes, we were.
I had just started St. Meinrad in 2011. You had been there for a year.
I've been in there for 2 years.
Yeah. Wow.
So, according to my math, that makes him 14.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is really quite something. Because I remember when he was born, and he was born during NCYC.
Okay.
Because I was staying at St. Monica's that day. So this is one of the nephews that comes and spends the week with me every summer, and just always such a joy.
One of the ones you remember when I let him sit on a helicopter?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I remember that. Good young men. Good boys.
Father Ahern.
Yes, Father Kuchar.
Do you ever surprise your parishioners with a visit?
I rarely show up at people's homes without them knowing that I'm coming.
Because that was one of the tools in Vianney's toolkit.
Oh, okay.
He first of all, he wanted to make sure that they had a Blessed Mother statue outside. He wanted to make sure they had a crucifix right when you walk in the door. He wanted to make sure that the house was properly adorned with these holy sacramentals.
Okay.
So it was sort of to check in on that. It was sort of to see how everybody's doing. It says here that he would call quite unexpectedly. This is on page 211. Very often at the hour of meals, and he would allow himself. He wouldn't eat very much, but he would eat a potato or something if they would have one there. But if everything was going really well with the family, and they were, there was just a lot to be thankful for, he would drink a small bit of wine with them.
Oh.
He'd allow himself that. But anyways, it says here that he would always inquire about the health of the parents and the children. He would talk about how their work is going, the state of their crops, and then he would move into a more serious tone. And he would talk about, what does your prayer life look like as a family? What is your daily practice on that? What is the obedience of the children in this household like to their parents? Are they learning their catechism properly? Are they making sure to attend Sunday Mass? Are they making sure not to work on Sundays? He had to have this kind of, those were some of his favorite questions to go at, but he would do it he'd approach it not head on, but from a 45-degree angle. He'd be talking with them, and he'd be just trying to ascertain all these things in a natural kind of way. And but it says here that with these private and unexpected visits, there was a great benefit, for he was able to apportion to each family its own meed of advice, and even at times blame. So he would just be able to, in a very pastoral, loving way, he would meet people where they are, and he would just. He really loved his people, Father Ahern. He really loved his people. And it turns out, from what I'm reading here, people really enjoyed the visits. Like they didn't feel like, oh, it's like the police are coming, the church police, or God's police squad is coming after. They didn't see it that way at all. They saw it as our pastor, our good shepherd, is coming to check on us, And I'm sure there was a few times where people felt like, gosh, I'm a little embarrassed that we don't have better things to report to him. But they knew that he stood in the place of Jesus. And actually, a lot of them kind of came to know, as a matter of fact, it has a quote here from the priest that came after him, Monsignor Convert. I bet it's Convert. Who followed him, and the people would aren't you going to come do visits like Father Vianney, and he said when people were visited by the Curé, they felt like they were being visited by a saint. Isn't that something?
That is something. That's pretty awesome.
So it just is something to think about. How often are we doing this? And I don't make it would be kind of funny if maybe we adopted the practice of unexpected visits.
Yeah, and funny is one word we could use for it. That'd be interesting.
I make visits, but they're planned, and they're also just they're. But I really do enjoy as a priest going to people's
inviting yourself
churches.
Over to people's homes,
domestic churches. Well, I do that sometimes, but usually it's people invite me. I'm not inviting myself. Now there are times where I might fish for an invitation, but it's more of a I don't usually have a lot of free evenings anyway.
Yeah, you stay pretty busy in that regard.
I do, but I love going to people's houses. I really do.
Oh yeah, no, it is a good thing, and it is a big blessing. So
because if we really believe, Father Ahern, that these are domestic churches, well, we ought to be in them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And what happened over the course of these early years of Father Vianney, from the outsider's point of view, was like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, all these houses have Mary statues out front, and that never had a Mary statue before. And so the things were beginning to change. This is in the section of Trochu's book that's talking about the transformation of ours. And one of the big ways that it was being transformed was one house at a time, one domestic church at a time. But before too many years went by, pretty much every Catholic household had a Mary statue, and people were beginning to notice, and that was having a transformative effect. It was both a sign of transformation, but also an agent of further transformation.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And like, not that there's a special power in the Mary statue or the crucifix, right? They are sacramentals, and they prepare us for grace in a beautiful way. But it's what putting that thing out shows to us. It's what, like, when you put the Mary statue out there, it's the act of doing that. It's the interior devotion that it shows by you doing that.
It's like the scapular. It's
right,
like any of those things.
Right.
We mentioned that at OCIA the other day. And there's a nice little section on the bottom of this page that I was giving them, and it said, These are some things that Catholics do not believe. That a lot of times people think we do believe, and one of them is that scapulars and crucifixes have magic powers.
Right.
We don't believe the disposition of the user, of the wearer, of the onlooker is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was talking with this little girl just yesterday, and she was asking if I had an elf on the shelf. The Christmas thing where the elf, she was telling me that because they already have an elf on the shelf out in their house and everything like that. And
boy, that's a little early, isn't it?
That's what I asked the parents. I was like, does the elf have enough places to go to last until Christmas? The dad goes, we'll find out. But
that's a lot of hiding places,
right? And she was asking me if I had an elf on the shelf. I was like, no, I have a Mary on a mantle. Because in my dining room I have a fake fireplace, and on the middle of the mantle is a Mary statue, right? So instead of having an elf on the shelf, I have a Mary on the mantle. And so, but it's that act of putting, the act of devotion of, okay, this is a symbol, this is a representation of a devotion that's with an interior devotion that I'm trying to grow and foster within myself. And and that's what those sacramentals are all about. And that's why St. John Vianney encouraged the families to put them out in their homes, and like they help remind us to do the right things and to put our brains and our souls in the right places.
Absolutely. And I'm at a point where I will tell families, that I go to their house for the first time, and if I don't see a crucifix, I say, this is exactly where you should put your crucifix when you get it, when you order it tomorrow. I said, this is where you need to put it. And I say, over here, over your dining room table, this is where you really ought to put that Last Supper painting that you're going to buy tomorrow,
Right. Exactly.
Like, this is, you got to remind them. And I go to kids' rooms and I don't see a crucifix. I say, right on top of every child's bed should be a crucifix. I mean, they don't think about these things all the time.
No, they don't.
And so I could see part of, and I do that. I mean, I could see why Vianney was so interested in these sacramentals, because if you surround yourself with what's holy, you'll become holy.
Yep.
And the same with our kids, more likely.
Yep.
I went to this one house on Saturday to bless it, and the little boy has holy water that he's sprinkling all over everything and all the time because his teacher gave him a holy water bottle, and he's really excited about it. And I thought that's really, really neat. And so I said, now, Diego, this is where you should put your holy water bottle. You put it right here he had a little shelf. On the top of the shelf was all his holy things. I said, you put that holy water right here, and you can bless yourself with it. He says, my mommy blesses me. I said, that's wonderful. See, these are the things.
Yeah.
But I imagine that Father Vianney, he would have, he would gather information and see patterns in the houses that he would visit, and then it would give him more material for preaching.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does.
Well. So it's pretty cool. So, anyways, a nice little strategy.
It is. I like it. I like it.
Tomorrow, Father Ahern, we will continue on day 200 and 213 tomorrow.
No, we're almost at 220.
Are we really? Oh
yeah.
My gosh! Wow. Okay. Well, hey, St. John Vianney,
pray for us.